On the heels of UFC 265, I'm joined by UFC President Dana White, and I know you look at the odds. The odds for this weekend's card are way off, in my opinion. Ciryl Gane's a 4-1 favorite against Derrick Lewis. I was just curious about your thoughts on that.
I agree with you 100%. That's insanity. But at the end of the day, Gane is undefeated. His stand-up is unbelievable. The guy moves around like a middleweight. But, how many times has Derrick Lewis been counted out? And all it takes is for him to land that one big punch. And he will land some punches in a 5-round fight. And he beat the champ. He beat Francis Ngannou. So what makes this fight so great as a heavyweight fight is he does have that one-punch power that he can do it. We're going to find out how Ciryl Gane deals with pressure, being in the first big, massive fight that he's ever really been in. And he's never fought Ngannou before, and Derrick Lewis actually has a win over Ngannou. So you couldn't make a more perfect heavyweight fight than this one.
I think Gane is a phenomenal technical striker. I think that he is a master at controlling the reach, but I just think you look at a heavyweight fight and you see a 4-1 favorite. That just blows my mind.
It's insane. But listen, you know what's fun about it? If you were watching boxing and a guy was a 4-1 favorite, you have absolutely zero chance of winning with the underdog. In this sport, get out there and make some money.
Now, outside of the main event, almost every fight's even money. Is there a fight in particular where you just have no idea how this one's going to go? It could play out in a million different ways.
Yeah, I love this card. If I had to pick, other than the main event, my other favorite fight, it would be Luque versus Chiesa. I love that fight. It's going to be a fun one. Two rising stars, two studs. Is Luque going to be able to keep Chiesa off him? And is Chiesa going to be able to take one of those shots from Luque?
I agree with you. I have no clue how that fight or Aldo versus Munoz goes. Those are just two very close fights. UFC 266 coming up next month. There were reports that this fight's going to be on ESPN Plus. It's not going to be a pay-per-view, the first numbered event in a long time where that's the case. Can you confirm that?
Which one's 266?
And Fight Island in October. Oh, sorry, 267. Yeah, I got the wrong one. 267.
True. Yeah. Fight Island, that one will not be on paper. It's still in the air, but more than likely it will not be a pay-per-view. And if I get my way, which I hopefully do, it'll be on ABC for free. And that card is awesome.
So will that fight be taking place like at night local time and in the afternoon stateside?
It'll be prime time local on Fight Island, and then so it'll be here, I guess, early in the morning.
This past weekend, Sean Strickland, the guy's got a few screws loose, but he did have a dominant win over Uriah Hall. Now, Israel Adesanya's beaten almost every guy in this division. He's almost cleaned out the division. Sean Strickland, I think, is a solid challenge for him. Where does he stand in the division right now?
A solid challenge for who?
For Israel. He's a guy that could be a future contender. I don't think he's getting a title shot right away, but where does he stand right now in the division, in your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. No, he's a bad boy. Tough, durable, keeps coming forward, walks you down and beats you down. I think we're trying to make him a Luke Rockhold right now. We're waiting for Luke Rockhold to see if he's going to accept the fight.
Oh, so Strickland versus Rockhold. That's an interesting one. Very similar body types.
Yeah. We're waiting on Rockhold, so we'll see.
Yeah, I know Luke has been, I guess he hasn't been excited about a lot of the opponents you've thrown at him, but Sean Strickland makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. This one should excite him.
The NFL lately has implemented a plan where athletes that they have are not, if they're not vaccinated and there's some sort of outbreak, you're going to see the forfeiture of games. Now, the reason I bring this up is because the co-main event last week, one of the co-main events between Hani Yahya and Kyung Ho Kang fell out on the day of the fight because Yahya contracted COVID-19. He had told Kombache that he had no plans of getting vaccinated prior to this happening. Is there going to be anything similar in the UFC? I know you guys are trying to safeguard your product and you don't want to see these fights fall out at 0 hour.
True, but I would never tell another human being what to do with their body. If you want to get vaccinated, that's up to you. That's your choice. You're never going to hear me say, I'm going to force people to get vaccinated. Never going to happen.
I don't think you'd be allowed to do that. I don't think the NFL are allowed to do that. You've got independent contractors. It's even trickier.
I think a lot of people are doing that. They're telling you in New York you can't go into a restaurant or a gym unless you're vaccinated and can prove it and things like that. Some people are getting fired if they don't get vaccinated. Yeah, that's not going to happen here. If you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't, that's your decision, your body.
Well, further to that, in November, you were still looking to do an event at MSG, and you mentioned these new regulations that came into effect in New York today. Does that put a pin in anything?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as this stuff starts to play out. I told you guys a million times, I'm going to go wherever I can run a normal event. You know, I said that I would be first, and I would do the first indoor sold out, arena with no social distancing and no masks and none of that stuff. We did it. We did it in Florida. We did it in Texas. We did it in Arizona. We did it in Vegas. We're going to sell out again this weekend in Texas. I don't know what the future holds or what's going to happen as this stuff continues to play. I wasn't ready a year and a half ago. I'm ready for anything now. So I don't care what happens, how it goes, how these different states run their stuff. I don't care anymore. I'm ready to roll. I have plans now.
So, but New York is still the plan if you can pull it off in November?
Yeah, if we can pull it off. I mean, we were supposed to go to England, and that didn't work out. So we're moving that to Vegas. And, the plan is New York. But if New York doesn't work out, I'll move it somewhere that it will.
You just mentioned before that Houston might be a sellout. Amanda Nunes falling off the card didn't affect that whatsoever?
It might not be a sellout. It is a sellout. It will sell out.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Derrick Lewis, obviously a big draw in his hometown.
Houston's a sellout. We're almost sold out in Vegas, too.
For 266?
Yep.
I'm surprised that the tickets are still available. People should snap those up. AJ McKee this past weekend, big prospect for Bellator. He's won 18 fights in a row for Bellator. After the fact, he's calling out all your guys. He's calling out Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, Volkanovski. Co-promotion, I imagine, is not in the cards. But what do you think of AJ McKee, and how do you think he would do against your guys?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. When his contract's up, he'll have to call, and we'll see what we can do.
He said he met you when he was like 10 or 11 years old backstage in an event. Do you have any recollection of this?
No, but I heard about it. That's awesome. Listen, if apparently I owe him lunch, so I will pay my dues and buy him lunch.
I know you like a good story like that. If somebody comes up to you when they're a kid and says they're going to be a champion one day. It's
one of my favorite things ever. Not just that, but when somebody is a kid, something happened the other day with this guy who told me, came up to me and told me the story about when he was a kid and how he watched the UFC growing up and all this stuff. And after I talked to the kid, I called Lorenzo and I was like, you remember when we used to talk about this? And, all that type of stuff is happening now. And to hear a story like McKee, is cool. And I look forward to buying him lunch.
Well, these second-generation fighters are going to be, he was 3 years old and he's putting people in leg locks, and he's got a 3-year-old brother putting people in leg locks. It's cool to see.
It's awesome.
And finally, the last time I interviewed you, you were more like Dana Claus than Dana White. I asked you for one fight in the War Room, and you gave me, of course it wasn't done yet, but you gave me Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler. Now, I'm going to continue to make this a tradition. You're in the War Room. Give me something from October, November. It can be the first fight on a card, last fight on a card.
I gave you one of the biggest fights of the year, and now you want more.
Well, hey, it never hurts to ask.
Let's see.
I told Lene I thought you were going to give me like an Andre Ewell fight, and I would have been perfectly happy with that.
All right, I don't know if this is out yet, but we're working on main event, November 13th, probably Vegas. Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez.
I like that fight. A lot of people are talking about that one being a possibility. It's not out there yet, but is that one done, or is it's in the works still?
What did you just ask me? Give me something that's not done, but that you're possibly working on.
I asked for something on the wall. Not done.
So don't have all the goofball MMA sites out there saying that it's not done. We are working on it.
I put it in caps last time. I think it was effective. People weren't saying it was done when I did it last time. I'll do it again this time.
Perfect.
It's UFC 265 this weekend, headlined by Cyril Gane, Derrick Lewis, interim title. Again, I think the odds are way off. Looking forward to this one, Dana. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.